Well, we've almost reached the end of the second quarter. It was an impressive period overall for mutual funds. But which were the best performers? Our markets team has been crunching the numbers. John Ehrlichman is back with more on some of those standout funds. So, John, where should I have had my money?
You know, you could have put it in all sorts of places and done half decent, Chris. We'll start with the equity performance because equity funds are at the top of the list in terms of performance, 15% as a group. But it really was the emerging market funds where we saw the strongest performance on a fund-to-fund basis. We looked at a few of the standout performers from the Eaton Vance Greater India Fund, up almost 60%, to the T. Rowe Price New Asia Fund and Dreyfus's Greater China Fund. So that's part of the EM story that we saw overall. But as for some of the individual stocks that were driving performance, for example, BlackRock has its Latin American fund, which was up more than 40% during this period. Petrobras and Vale also very strong performers in that group. Moving from that area, by the way, commodity funds, which have been the best performers this year, also putting together another impressive quarter, up almost 10%. And then to highlight a specific smaller group, small caps, up about 19% as a group. One name we found, the Oppenheimer International Small Cap, up about 62%. Bond funds, we know treasury funds or money market funds not doing as well, but emerging market debt funds, pretty strong performance there as well, Chris.
So, John, here's a question for you. I mean, we've had such strong performance and all these red flags kind of being raised. You look at all the expectations for the treasury market. I mean, tell me a little bit about that. Sure,
and there's a great story in the Bloomberg terminal this morning about correlation. We were talking about that earlier. Emerging markets and stocks and commodities all moving in the same direction. David Joy of RiverSource raising the concern, if everything's moving in that same direction, how do you construct your portfolio to account for various risks? That's a concern that some investors have after this strong performance that we've already seen. Back to you.
John Ehrlichman telling us where we should have been.